Welcome to the Entertaining Stupid Podcast, a hobby and excuse for me and my friends to meet up and actually spend some time together. We'll ramble on and test the limits of how much time we can actually be in the same room with each other. Pull up a chair and join us.
Jason Statham in the Italian job?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Was he?
I don't think so, guys.
I think he was.
I don't think Jason Statham.
Because they had like a reference where he had a Mini Cooper, and they're like, he's like, yeah, it's from an old job.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Handsome Rob.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah.
from the Italian job.
You should
I
in
didn't
the
see
car.
the
The
one.
only, and actually, Jason Statham's sister in the movie is super hot too, so it makes it worth it.
I'm like, yeah, well, let's start the podcast.
Alrighty. That's fine. We will start this off. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children all around the world, inanimate objects sitting in the corner, staring back at Ray, giving him the creeps. Welcome to another episode of the Entertaining Podcast. With me, as always, I'm Jason. Are my friends?
Bruce Wayne.
Dan.
Rel.
Just kidding, it's Matt.
Look, I am like,
You want to hear some crazy? All I've drank is water. There's nothing else.
yeah. You've had water. I'm like half a bottle of Moscato and like 6 beers deep right now. So
H2O.
yeah,
H2O.
he's those hydro homies that Reddit keeps talking about.
Boys so lit.
Could you not blow in the mic like that?
Sorry.
Alrighty.
Quite-
Well, I didn't
Quite
really
pumped
have
up right now.
Giving
Yeah.
you that ear blow.
I didn't really have a whole lot planned for this thing, so I'm just gonna ask you guys a simple question, a simple hypothetical question. That I think if you guys,
listen to the
this is
Creed
gonna
on the
drive
way
a great conversation. All right. Do you guys think
No.
in a lineup of about 100 dicks or so, you'd be able to pick out your own penis?
Why would you ask that question out
It's
of
a
any
terrible
question you can
question.
actually ever ask?
Yeah.
That's the one.
I could pick out Dan's. I mean,
No, I
Well,
like it. Just working in the health region. Yeah.
You know, that's easy. Dan's got a micro penis and it's slightly shaped to the left or something like that, right?
Something like that. So you don't know. If you say something, if you say
Well,
it's like that,
it's not
then I would know.
exact.
I'm not
See?
gonna confirm it or
Yeah,
neither. There's
well-
three. I'm not gonna. There's three
Hey,
beauty
Third
marks
dimple.
You know
around
what?
your
No,
dick.
no,
Like
let's
I'm
go
not
back.
gonna look that.
Let's do a quick
you know.
story here. Let's do a quick story.
All right. There's
Now,
a story.
Matt-
The
Just
one
ignore
hair that
Jason's
comes out of your tip.
it's
I don't
not.
know.
No. This actually has to do with it.
We all decided Jason's question
No,
sucked.
no. This has something to do with it. The concept of it was that me and Matt used to work out a lot, and we used to work out at SciAS, and that's when we started like really hanging out together. It was me and him, were first year university, and saying, let's try to get in shape.
Yep.
And went to work out, and every day after we work out, we'd shower. But see, Matthew.
No.
he
You
didn't-
would shower. I would refuse to shower because you were a creep that would try to look at my
this
penis.
Is, yeah, okay, Matt's words. Now, what the thing is that I realized is that
Matt's words, my
This
binoculars.
is the worst topic.
there's
ever.
nothing like sharing a shower with another man to gain camaraderie. Now, it's not the idea that you're looking at each other, but it's the fact that you've completed something, you're showering, and you're joking around with it. You're not like going and looking and, hey, what's up? What do you,
You're
you know?
not. You're not soaping each other's
No,
backs.
no, nothing like that. But
It's
it's
not the
Sorry,
Y-
I got up your ass there.
It's not the YMCA here.
no, it's not the one I'm saying. But the thing is, you go in there and you're comfortable enough to go in there and be like, whatever. We're just having. There's nothing. It's a group shower. That's it. There's 5 or 6 stalls. Everyone's just having a shower, and
Okay,
he never.
let me correct you there.
Never would walk in with me. He would wait. He'd let me shower
let
first
me-
as a voyeur. He would just stand over there looking at me and do nothing until he. And then I got out, and then finally he had the courage to go in. I don't know why he never wanted to go in with me.
Yeah, because you're peeping Tom. That's why.
When? When did I ever actually be?
Okay, you know what? For a
Example
reference, I
13.
have example 13-5 in the Dan looks at people's penises in the shower rulebook. Okay,
I know he's
okay.
gonna, I know he's gonna say.
I'm not
because,
gonna
like,
I'm not gonna name the person's name, but he's a close friend. He works out a lot. He actually even owns his own gym now.
Sylvan.
Anyway, that's beside the
Through
point.
Crawford.
I mean, he can't defend himself
we're,
right now.
We're
right?
all at the gym, and this gentleman is teaching us some techniques. And then after, we all got to go for a shower. And this gentleman and Dan go in right away. I was still a little subconscious because I was still losing weight. So, you know, when you're 220 pounds, you don't feel super confident in yourself yet. And you don't really care. Anyway, 2 minutes. Like, I don't think the other gentleman even finished his shower. Dan goes quick in and out because he has to come out and tell me something. And he goes, Matt. I'm like, yeah. Oh, he's a shower.
Yeah.
So
got a big dick.
Like,
He's got a big dick.
He's like, he packs heat.
Yeah. Looks like he had
And
a
I'm
tube
like,
of tennis balls hanging
And I'm
there.
like, yeah, that's why I don't shower with Dan, man.
Well-
he just had to it was 2 minutes. It wasn't even like
Yeah.
he just went like in and out. I was like,
That's-
yeah, it was cool.
yeah.
And then the other guy's like, you
That
done the
was goal
shower?
number
Yeah.
one.
No, but the idea of it is okay, you know what? Here from Matt's point of view, I want to hear from the other guys in here though. As other guys being in a shower, not to think that like you're staring at them for like a minute, going observing it and viewing how it goes and the light, the shadow. No, I'm not like that. I'm not painting a mental image. You literally go one quick. Oh, that's a dick. That's it, right?
It's
No,
like
okay,
Like,
you wouldn't.
no,
that
I'm
would,
not saying you go out of your way.
No.
No.
The way you described it means that you took more than 1 second to look at this gentleman's penis.
I literally looked
No,
at it.
it's because he had to double
like,
take,
did-
triple
yeah,
take.
did you?
No.
And then he
Genuinely,
just
genuinely,
stared.
I just looked over. I just said, "Shit, he's got a big dick,"
Oh
and that's it.
no!
See what you're describing, Dan.
Man, I wish I had one of those.
What you're describing is like cleavage, right? You don't stare at cleavage. You take a quick
Yeah, wait,
quick
wait,
glimpse
no,
of
but
it.
this
Depends on the person.
Yeah.
No,
Depends
no,
on the person.
I do want to bring it back to the idea though.
Wait, no, I was gonna say from the other point of view, like the only time I've done group showers was in fucking high school gym class. You go in there, you fucking eyes balls to the wall.
That's high school though.
No, fucking any. I'm not staring at any dudes.
Oh no, I'm
I
not
don't
saying
want to
stare.
fucking see another junk.
I'm not saying staring. I'm saying genuinely.
You
As,
can keep your eyes
Hey,
fucking
hey,
focused, man.
Hey, Ray,
okay.
do you masturbate in the dark then? Like, just not see your own shit? Because that's gay?
Personal dicks are different.
No, but in the same sense that
Gotta
like if
appreciate
you
yourself.
no, but if you're around like even if you're
don't
anywhere in the
look at
shower,
him.
even on the beach, right?
I call him
It's
big
not,
fella
it's
all
nothing,
the
It's
time.
nothing sexual, but if you
No,
look,
I
like,
know,
but if you look at anyone else on the beach, you compare. You go, that guy's taller. That guy's more muscular. That guy's fatter. You know, and naturally you draw comparisons.
I'm on Dan's side here. You catch catch glimpses here and
Yeah,
there.
it's not like a thing like I'm like
not-
staring
wait,
at.
wait,
No,
wait.
there's a difference though, because you're trying to catch a glimpse
No, I'm not.
versus
Okay,
you're
wait.
not. Okay, you were definitely trying to catch
He
a glimpse.
literally turned
wait.
and started
No, no.
talking to me as he's washing his hair.
Yeah, you look him in the eye. Then.
Yeah, you look
Yeah,
it
I
up.
did, and it's peripheral. Are you saying like I
And
can
the
only...
dick was swinging by his shoulder.
No, but hear me out.
There's nothing I could do.
If we're standing, if you take the average man, and you're standing.
That was the dick rail. He just saw nothing
Do you know
but
how
dick.
tall this man is? His dick in my
It's
face.
so-
Well, and the concept of it
don't know
is
where
that,
you're
I
like,
can understand why his name is Richard now.
Oh no. I'm essentially getting to the point that like, don't be wrong. You can say what you want, but every single guy looks at other guys and size themselves up.
No. I'm not. All right. I'm not gonna call you out for catching a glance. That shit
I'm
happens.
just teasing.
One. You catch a glance. You keep it to yourself. You don't go out to another man and start jabbing on.
I can talk about
Hey,
whatever I want.
hey, when if it's something to be like, you know, that
It makes a
that's-
good story,
yeah,
so I thought it was
makes a
pretty
good
funny.
story.
I thought
And
it
you
was
know
funny.
what?
It's funny.
I came out and I'm like,
It is
I'm like,
really
Matt,
funny.
I also
he's a
appreciate-
shower.
Yeah, it's really
And
funny.
like, well, and I will admit too, there is an aspect of it that I did enjoy saying a lot of like homosexual things around Matt because it made him feel uncomfortable, and that was
Oh
fun
yeah,
for me.
definitely.
Because like anytime I'd say like, I'd be like, "Hey Matt, you're looking good." Like even that, right? He'd be like, and I loved it because he got a reaction out of him. So I always loved doing that.
That's true.
It's like that's why I can't. Well, like, but
That's fair.
Go-
That's why we
going
make fun of Stefan.
going back
Yeah.
to my
Or he's
original
just-
question
yeah.
about, you know,
That's why I
picking
could tell penis out. Yes. I
Yeah,
could.
yeah, that's
Especially in the hospital.
Well,
I've
no,
seen
that's
more
that's
genitalia
that's
than anyone in this room.
that's you
combined.
staring at other people's genitalia like front on. Like you, like in my head, like I'm only seeing my dick from like one direction, right? Like top down, right?
Yep.
Right? Like if they were showing you like
From
you know
bottom
direct
bottom
up.
up.
I don't.
I'm not
just
very
saying
obsessed with my
hypothetically.
dick. Clearly,
No,
like, I just don't care.
I was gonna say with Jason's point where he's like,
Yeah.
"Don't you masturbate in the dark?" I'm not sitting there looking down.
yeah, I'm not like.
I've got something in
But
front
you have
of
a
me
very,
that I'm
you should
Yeah.
have a very good idea of what your penis looks like.
vague.
But also in the sense that like literally almost, I'd say at least once a week, you should be checking also for the fact that like,
Well,
you're checking for lumps, everything like that.
That one,
Man,
those times that I was looking at something, you
Don't
always hear
say
an
it's a
elephant
bad
in the
idea.
background.
No, it's not a bad idea. Sorry to cut you off, Matt. I'm not gonna say it's a bad idea. It's just when people said like check your balls for lumps. There's a lot going on down there. I don't know what's normal and what's not.
Well, that's why. That's,
That's-
the whole
that's
idea.
why you start
you,
feeling.
That's why
You
you
feel
start
what's
feeling. 'cause you
normal.
know
I
what's
fucking know
normal.
the difference. I
I
forgot.
wouldn't
last
say I
week.
check once a week. I would say like at least monthly.
I do
Yeah,
once
right.
a week.
Same. I do once a week. Well, in the idea.
I just hope it got what it's going on down there.
well, that's fair. Well, the idea. Well,
Well,
the idea behind it
and
is,
the
though,
odds are though with our age that it's already past the point where you could get it.
What? Like.
No,
No,
you
but
can
it's-
always
no, not-
ball
no.
cancer.
No. I just said that the odds are slimmer now. That's all I said. I didn't say it
I
can
don't
happen.
know enough about testicular cancer to know.
There's a certain age gap. Like it's like they have in science. Like it's between like the ages like 22 and something that you would. You're
But, like, the
more
most
likely.
prevalency,
And then
yeah.
if you have any like cancer in your if you don't have any cancer in your family, like except like someone's like 90 and they have skin cancer or something like that,
Yeah.
then the chances of you actually getting cancer are super slim. They don't even test for the most part anymore.
But yeah, back to the original question. In a lineup, I could tell my penis apart easily.
Okay, that was a very good answer.
Thank you.
I'd
at least-
hope I'd be able to, but I really don't care enough. To,
See, I don't want to see a line.
like
of
I don't want
100
to see
dicks.
because you'd have to go through
Think about that.
99
No, but
dicks
the
to get your own
the
dick.
question isn't whether or not you want to see the dicks. That's not the question. You're seeing the dicks. You're gonna see.
I
the
just-
dicks.
What if they have a lineup of 100 dudes and I'm just maintaining eye contact?
You know, like the like in the like in the
You
movie.
can't judge. You can only gain size off peripheral. That's it.
You know, like in the
cannot gain
movies and stuff like
anything
that, or
else.
TV shows where it's like a huge lineup of people or something like that, and it just quickly zooms into that one thing. It's like the right person or that
Oh,
person.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just Dan with his dick. He just
No, like a no.
found it. There it is. There it
You know
is.
what
Number
is, though, too?
43.
Measures it. Okay, yep.
Yep,
2.5.
yep.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, I
Curves a
right,
bit to
yes,
the left.
yes,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and like
Mole to the.
I don't know about any moles. I would know because I check.
I mean,
Four skin tags that look like they're herpes.
I guess it makes
Skin tags are gross.
I guess it makes sense that I know it like the back of my dick isn't really a saying.
Wait,
That's
That-
not a
the
saying.
saying is. I don't think
That-
the saying is
I don't
ever
think
That
been the
scar
back
from
of
the
my dick.
sunburn of '95. Yep, that one.
I don't think it's
that
ever
time
been a
I tried
saying.
to wax it with Nair. Yeah, that's there.
You could just tell by all the bush around it.
It's actually just a forest.
Dan can't grow
It's
hair
eternal. It
anywhere
comes out
else.
when it needs.
Dan can't grow hair anywhere else but his junk.
Actually, I remember.
Fucking like
When it needs to go
snake
swimming,
tamer.
it'll come out.
He's a snake tamer. He's got the flute going.
As much
that's
as
the
as much as I enjoy our penis talk. Now, the next but like
He
when it
plays
came,
little games. It's like the dragon from Harry Potter, and then his fingers like Harry Potter on the fucking broom. I gotta get the egg.
See, Dan, they didn't want to talk about penises, but they can't stop talking about penises.
I was gonna say,
now.
isn't it ironic? See, and that's the kicker. It's the people who avoid it are the ones who are trying to hide something.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hide anything.
You and me are totally like.
We're trying to have a little fun here.
Yeah.
I know my
I'm trying to react to Goblet
I mean,
of Fire
I
when
see
you
that.
want me to do it.
I mean,
That's
okay.
nature.
All right. The next thing, the next thing I guess we can build off of that is, like, are you, well, no, I was not gonna say that, but I mean, like back to your gym story. Like, are you guys still self-conscious about your bodies?
Oh yeah.
Not as much anymore. I used to.
Because like,
You
like
get-
I'm at the point in
you
my
get
life.
comfortable wherever you
Yeah.
get to, right? But then you know that the hardest part is when you've hit a peak and like
And
it's the
you
best you
fall
ever
a
want.
little bit
Then
from
you
it?
get very disappointed in yourself.
Yeah, because you know
See,
where you. Used
I
to
think
be.
I think
Yeah.
I think again it's like self-consciousness, right? It's all in
Yep.
your mind. Because like I honestly don't care if people look, and whatnot. I just bear it all out. Like,
Yeah. Well,
Like I think there's this like too like if you're overweight, but I mean like if you're 30 pounds overweight, it's different from being like 85 pounds or 100 pounds overweight. So
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're like 205, that ain't a big deal. But if you're like 280, that's
That's a
like,
big
that's
deal,
a big deal,
Is it-
right? So like that's just super unhealthy. Like at that point, so
Well, actually, I think that's
it's like a
big-
medium, right? No, that's all I was saying.
But like no, just like you said though, I think it's once you hit especially like for me and Matt know this well, right? Like because we both been like we both been overweight and we both lost weight and gotten to a peak, and then like kind of falling back off of it. But now, like in my case, I'm trying to get back into working out. And the idea of it is, and I will admit, I look back into it, and before it was, I will 100%. Before it was for looks. I wanted to look good. I didn't really give a damn about health. Didn't care about that. That's why at times like I would go like 18 hours without eating because I'm like. I want to be, and like
very
dangerous.
best.
Yeah, like
Oh,
intermittent
you're
fasting
fasting,
to a
yeah.
dangerous level. And I remember that, and I'm like, you know what? Because you wanted so badly to have that image. I remember I got down to, I think the lowest I ever was about 158. And like my frame,
fucking
like right now,
way
about
too low.
205. I should be around 185. 185, 190 would be my healthy weight, like my kind of goal. But when I was at 160, I noticed that, first off, everything it became harder. I had no energy. Like it was fucking like even I do weights and stuff like in cardio, I could do it, but I would die after essentially. And I just remember when it comes to like losing weight or trying to be like the self-consciousness is that whenever I would weigh in anything above 160, I'd feel like shit because I go I'm not looking my best because I'm not down enough. So that mentality just leads to unhealthiness. Whereas I feel like now I'm coming back at it where it's like with Matthew saying like even if you're a little bit overweight, it's okay. It's the fact that you want to be healthy. Try your best to be in a healthy range. Like, as I eat decently now, like I'm still, I think I'm 208 right now. But like, realistically, like I could lose a little bit more, but I feel good because I'm eating decent food. Like I'm eating rice, I'm eating
The
like,
gym
meats, I'm
means
eating.
fuck all if you don't eat healthy.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter. You can do all you want. Like, you can work your ass off. You can do 2 days. It won't matter if you eat like shit.
What would you split it, Matt? The importance for maintaining a healthy body. What would you percentage of exercise percentage of eating?
You could literally. I'd say it's like 90% eating
Yeah.
healthy more
I
than
would
it
say
is
the same.
exercise. Like there was one point in time where I didn't work out for a year and a half, and I maintained my weight because I just ate healthy every day.
Wow.
That's it. Like
Yeah,
I
'cause
didn't.
you
I didn't
never
gain a
get-
fucking pound. I just drank water and ate healthy.
See, you two guys are on the
bigger
spectrum,
end,
on
yeah.
the bigger end, right? You guys are trying to slim
I
down.
was gonna say you guys.
then there's
Then you
there's
and-
people like me and
yeah,
Ray.
but like the difference is too, like, I'm not even working out right now and I'm losing weight because I'm just eating healthy, and I've kind of gone back to my diet and I feel way better. I've noticed the difference
When you
just
wake up.
eating healthy. Like like I don't feel as bloated anymore as I used to and all that stuff. For gaining weight, it's pretty tough. Yeah, especially if you have a really good metabolism. That's really where you just like don't worry about cardio. You're like literally you're just looking to bulk. You're trying to eat as much as you can, but it's hard to if you have a small stomach. So if you don't have like a big stomach where you can eat lots of food, you're not gonna gain that weight.
because
over time.
I decided a little while ago that I'm gonna try and bulk up because like on average I weigh 135 or so.
Yeah.
And I want to try and reach 155, 160 by the end of the year.
So like
That's
it's
a goal.
doable, but it's like hard. Like
That is-
Oh no,
I mean,
it is
fuck.
because I have to go
Yeah.
through
like I
my-
think
my older brother-
I think if you gain like 15 pounds in a year, that's pretty healthy. Like, but like 30 is pretty hard to achieve. Just like losing weight, like people like are like I fucking have worked out for 2 months. I've only lost 20 pounds. Like that's pretty good. Like that's
amazing.
it's actually higher than it should be.
Yeah.
Like you should be losing like you should be losing 1.5 pounds to a pound a week.
I think
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah,
it.
'cause-
that's like
Because
what it
otherwise
is.
you're getting into the rate where you're
Yeah.
starting to be like.
And everything fluctuates anyway. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
there's water weight on
Yeah.
top of that too. But I talked to my older brother about it, and he used to wrestle in high school, so he knows
Yeah.
about bulking up and stuff like that. So he's like, you need about 3,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
And that should get you about 2 pounds a week roughly.
So yeah, you probably just want to bulk up. Like if you're gonna bulk up, you should do it the healthy way. Like you have healthy carbs like vegetables and rice, but you want like a shit ton of protein.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
because
it's just-
then it's a
You'll
clean
hate
bulk.
chicken after a while.
Yeah,
I'll say
but
that
but
much.
it would be a clean bulk.
yeah,
Then. It
no,
wouldn't
no.
be.
What he recommended was like,
I eat it, but
if you are I ideally it's about 3 cups of rice a day, and then
Yeah.
mostly fill it with protein and rice after
Yeah.
to make up the rest. But if you can't seem to do like if you're on a time crunch, 4 cups of white rice a day will get you there. And then he also recommended me drinking like a liter of like whole milk with like weight gainer right before I go to bed, like.
That kind of
like
makes
every
sense.
night.
That does
Yeah.
make sense.
And I was
'cause
like,
that's-
Well, you could also like supplement your protein with just protein shakes.
yeah.
So as
no,
long as you did that.
I'm doing that, but the only thing I'm trying to stay away from is dairy, because that's gonna make me break out like fucking crazy.
Oh, you're allergic?
It just makes my skin super oily.
Oh.
Just dairy in general. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
I was just,
Also, I'm a bit lactose, so that's gonna
Yeah, I
give me
was
the
gonna say
shit.
that's like I'll admit it's interesting now hearing because like, and I think Matt understands this well because like we're both very similar. It's so weird hearing someone say like a complaint of I can't gain weight because like my only problem has always been that I can't
Yeah.
stop eating. I'm always hungry. I always want more.
Mhm.
And then whenever someone says like, oh, I had a bad day, or like we come like even for example like me and Ray and Jason and Sil, we all play D&D every week. And like for D&D, I remember like Ray, you'd come every once in a while with like you get like maybe a burger or two, and like I'd sit there and be like, "That's all you're gonna eat? Like that's it?" I'm like, I would have at least 4 or 5,
You
then
came
maybe
with
a meal on top of it.
you
like,
came with a crock pot full of chili.
yeah, but that's for everybody. though. that was, and also I admit I felt bad because I was like 20, I think I was 30 minutes late because I was making the chili, and I'm like, you know what? Don't be wrong, it's nice you made the chili, but
It
maybe
was a nice
be
story. It was a nice
on
story.
time. I've worked on the timing. I haven't made chili again
Mhm.
because of obviously the story we had last time.
Yep.
But
It was a good story.
I just think I don't know, it's weird hearing it from you guys. Like, I guess that's the thing. Like, was there ever like what was the first point for you and Jason? Like, what was it like? Because I know I know roughly for Matt, and I know for me the moment where you get there and you're like shit. Like, because I know for Matt and me it was getting overweight and going, we got to change something. We got to like this isn't a good way to live. Like for you guys, I'm not saying you're in an unhealthy way, but what was the first time you thought like I want to try to gain weight, or like, is there any moment?
No,
in
no,
the time-
there is a moment in that. It's when what is it? After, cause like my work is a bit hectic during like holidays, like Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
Mother's Day, right? We get super busy
That's
around
where you're
those times.
supposed to stress eat.
Yeah, that's when you.
No, I don't stress eat. I work so much that I don't eat at all.
You're like my brother then. Yeah.
Right, and like I remember weighing myself after a Mother's Day, because what I do is a lot of gifting, right?
No.
I weighed myself after a Mother's Day, and I was like, I'm 120 pounds. That's a bit on the light end.
Oh,
And I remember
crap.
complaining about that to the
He's
girls
an
at
attractive
work,
model.
to the girls at work, and they were like, and one of the skinnier ones that were staring at me was like, I hate you. I'm like, what? I hate you. I'm like, why?
Because you weigh less than
I
her.
weigh less than them.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. But then, yeah.
Cause like Ray, what's an average weight for you?
I do not fluctuate that much at all, so I'm between like 128 and 132, and I've maintained that for like 5 to 6 years.
Cause like
So you're like my brother too. He's been at 160 for
I've
7 years, I think.
I've been at 135 for
today.
4 years.
Toast for breakfast, skip lunch, and then like 3 or 4 p.m. I had a big crunch with a poutine side.
Oh my god.
Crushed it.
And see, that's the thing. Like, I just think
Such a bad diet.
no, but that's the thing. Even with that, though, like for me, I got up and like my idea was, I got up I'm like, hey, I'm like, you know, and I was thinking about going to the gym, but I still have a bit of a cough. So every time I go and I try to get on anything cardio, I just start having a storm, and everyone around me wants to get away from me, which I get. So I'm like, okay, maybe hold off. But I remember I'm like, hey, let's try to eat a little bit decenter today, because I'm not gonna go to the gym, so let's try to eat okay. And I got up, I'm like, let's just have some eggs. I'm like, well, 3, that's a good amount of
Yeah,
eggs.
that's a good amount.
Mm-hmm.
Turned into
7.
8.
Oh my god.
I ate 8
Okay,
eggs.
how
Jesus.
prepared?
Oh, like
how'd you
I made sunny side up. I made
8
I made
sunny-
3 of them, and then I'm like, that's not enough. And then I went and made 5, and then I'm like, that's not enough, because I was still hungry.
I
And
would
then
recommend.
I ate 2 bowls of cereal, and then
Oh
I
my
had almonds,
god.
and then
Wait, but just the eggs,
That's
though.
just for
So-
breakfast.
that was just for breakfast.
Do you have lunch?
Yeah,
What'd you have for
Christ.
lunch?
Wait, I'm still on the eggs though. So it's like you made 3 sunny side eggs
yeah.
and ate them.
Yeah.
Just
Just
like
right, yeah.
sunny side, and then you
Oh,
ate
and 2 yogurts.
You didn't have
5
toast with
more.
your eggs?
I don't like toast.
5
What the fuck you
more
have
sunny
toast?
side up.
What's the
eggs.
point of
Yeah,
the
just
sunny
eggs.
side
Yeah,
eggs
I
without
could not
toast?
eat that many eggs.
Good protein.
No.
Well, I know, and that's the thing, and like that's why. No, but
Jesus.
genuinely, and that's the thing that I like, and it's also it's compounded. And the thing that is even worse. It's compounded by the fact that like, and not even this morning. I didn't, because I don't usually until a little bit later on. But like for anyone listening, like I smoke weed and I enjoy it. But the downside to that, understandably, is when you eat, I already have a large appetite. So when I eat, it gets worse. I've gotten like I remember the one time I had. Like, to put it very bluntly, I had, like, at Costco. Like, have you ever gone to Costco and seen those big bins of, like, quinoa?
Yeah.
And stuff like that? I ate a whole thing of that.
Oh.
And then I ate a whole Greek salad. And then I ate a lumberjack.
Oh my!
A full lumberjack.
The lumberjack sandwich.
Yeah, the full one.
All
Yeah,
of that in a
that's
meal.
the weed,
In
dude.
one meal. And then...
In
and-
one meal.
In one meal.
Why? Why?
I was hungry.
Dude, that's like a week
That's
for
way
me.
too much.
Well, I know, and that's the
That's
thing. And, like,
insane.
well,
That's
that,
like 7,000
but,
calories.
and then, like, don't get me wrong. That was a combination of me, like, I skipped
That's
lunch.
3 days.
And
That's
so-
insane.
Well, and that's what I'm
Where's
saying.
the
Like,
eating?
my biggest problem is like, and even without smoking, my appetite is enormous. I can eat like I hate it sometimes, but I can eat a lot. And so that's why, especially me going back to the gym now, I'm like, I accepted. I am never going to be the lean.
Queen.
I'm never going to be the lean guy on the magazine. Like,
Okay.
you know, I'm never. That's not me. That's not my body type. That's not my hunger. I'm like, oh, let's just try to. No, it's true. I'm like, let's just
What's
try
your
to.
hunger?
Let's
yeah,
just
but
try
you
to
can
lift
train. You
weights.
can just train yourself to be able to eat less.
I've tried.
Well, you can. It just takes time.
No,
and
but
You know what?
I agree with it though. It's like once you discover what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
just
yeah,
roll
but
with
like
Well,
it doesn't mean
today
that
was
you
an
can't
exception
change
'cause
it.
Today I was
Like
bored
it could
and,
be
yeah.
like instead of 8 eggs, you could do 4, and then instead of having 2 bowls of cereal, you could just have 1.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's where you do,
yeah.
and then eventually that goes down to like 3 eggs, and no cereal, and then yogurt. That's what
Yeah.
happens. Like you just train yourself to do that.
You know what? I kind of wish like we could just like
But,
Venmo
like,
each other.
All I'm trying to say
appetite.
is like.
Yeah, I would love to. I would.
All I'm
Just
trying to
send me
say
a
is
little
like the
bit.
gym
Just
is
send me
great,
I'll-
but there's
I'll
no
give
point
you
of
my
going
whole
to the
appetite.
gym if you're eating that much all the time. Like it won't like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but I'm not trying to lose weight anymore.
No, I know. But that's what I mean. Like you'd still be gaining calories. You'd still be an overabundance.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
without
But
no,
wait,
like
but
today.
you'd be jacked and heavier though, wouldn't you?
No. No.
Well, yeah,
Doesn't
you
work that
technically
way?
would though. If you
Well,
worked
you
out
get
and because that's
you
both.
wouldn't
I don't
get
know how it
jacked.
works.
You
No.
wouldn't get jacked, and like you'd have more muscle, but like it depends on
Okay.
what you're
But-
doing.
Okay, but
Yeah,
the
yeah, but it
jacked-
depends
because you're
what
thinking
you do.
you're
Alright,
mixing
not
up jacked and like being shredded. Someone who's
No.
lean.
I'm
jacked is
talking
just muscle.
I'm that's what I'm talking about, but it depends what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I'm still working out. That's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
working
but
out.
if you're
Maybe
if
I
you're
shouldn't have
lifting
said
20
jacked.
pounds to like it doesn't matter. You got to be doing like heavy weight lifting.
Yeah, like
get
actually,
jacked.
for example, I've gotten to the point now where like, because me and Matt we started doing squats at Planet, and you can't really do them because it's a Smith machine, so it's a bit funky because it doesn't work as well. And I remember I started with Matt, and like I didn't know. Luckily, he was there to train me because I have no idea how to do that shit. And so we went in there and we started with like 25s, and I'm like, okay, it started without the bar, then 25s, and it felt weird for me because I kept trying to plant my toes. And anyway, so long story short, I'm like, okay, that's not the way to do it. And I've gotten now to the point where I've gotten like, I used to have, and I don't know the weight of the bar. Someone else could do the math for me, but I had 25 on each side, and that was more than enough for me. Like that was more than I could handle. Now I've gotten to the point where in like 2 or about 3 weeks now, I've gone from 25 to 55 on each side.
Damn.
So like, and that's the thing, and like that's the only that I would say that's the one benefit I think that's also me just learning the routine and kind
That's
of my
that's
muscle,
all
my
it
body
is, man.
getting-
It's all technique.
Oh
Like,
no, exactly, and like
yeah.
my body's getting used to it. But I guess that's also why. Like today was an exception because I ate too much. I know I ate too much.
Yeah,
today.
that's all I'm trying to say. Like
Yeah.
you can. I'm not saying you can't get jacked underneath like the like.
But wasn't
you
that the
know.
question whether or not jacked was meaning because muscular?
No,
like, I'm
ja-
sorry,
Wait,
jacked-
wait,
no, no.
Sorry, not jacked. I didn't.
No.
I'm sorry I said
Jacked is still strong.
I
Like
just
you're
mean,
very
yeah,
strong.
strong.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what jacked means.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't say. 'cause
No,
jacked
I
is
know,
like-
but you can get that. But I'm trying to say is like you need to lift heavy weights to be that. Like
Yeah,
you
that's
can't.
like
It's not like just
bodybuilding.
55. Like for an example, it'd be like the guy's bar is 45, right? So you had 55. That's 110 plus 45, 155. Those guys would be doing like 420 and all that, and then they'd be bench pressing like 325.
Oh, okay, no, I
and
get
all
it
that.
now.
Like that's what I'm trying to
You're,
say.
you're
Like,
talking about someone who's already established as being.
well, no,
like-
that's what you'd have to get to be jacked. Is what I'm
okay.
trying
You're
to say.
saying okay. You're saying
Like,
jacked isn't
Man,
someone who's just
I'm
huge.
confused. Okay, what if we're just talking Dan, and what if
Yeah.
Dan just keeps eating a lot, but also working out, and he just incrementally, slowly gains, like his bar goes from
Well, it
55,
depends what he's eating.
65.
Well,
It would have to be a lot of like protein and muscle recovery to
Eight
get
eggs.
him jacked.
That's a
Like
lot of-
eggs are fine, but I mean like if he's eating a bunch of carbohydrates, it's not going to do him anything.
Actually, you know what? I will admit
The
this
only thing
much.
carbohydrates would do is if he's going to have it before his workout.
Energy.
And all
Yeah,
he did
provides
was
energy.
like squats for 3 hours. That's the only time
Okay.
it would be worth it
Because yeah, it gives you that like when you're
Yeah.
tired and it's like
Yeah.
that.
because
oh,
it gives you
that
the
rush.
glucose you need.
Alright, I think this is the problem where it's like it feels like a lot of people just get lost and confused. Where it's like me, I'm not the gym guy. I've never been to a
Yeah.
gym. Like I don't know fuck all about all this. So
Yeah.
when people start saying you have to eat this to get this energy to build this thing, it's like I don't want to learn about that. All I want to do is eat a little bit, go to the gym, work out, and if I can increase my bench press by like 10 pounds every 2 months, I'm like fuck, I'm
Yeah, but
static.
that's which is good. But that's why you need to put the food in your body to recover and all that stuff.
I know. It's
I think-
just
I
so
think
scientific.
It is scientific.
I,
It is
I
shitty.
think
It's
if
the way it
you're
is, though.
going in with a game plan and you have a goal in the end,
Yeah.
you want to do the research to get there.
Yeah,
Like,
Ray,
exactly.
the whole
Ray's just going into the
He's
gym
casual.
No,
to
yeah,
work
yeah,
out
just wants-
because
I get it.
it's exercise.
Yeah, for the casual, that's fine. I just mean like in general though. Like,
It's nice.
like
I
if you
get
want
it.
to see some improvement, you can do it quickly. Like,
If you do
it
your
doesn't
research,
have to
yeah.
be like it doesn't have to be like a year to gain 10 pounds in lifting. Like, it could be all about your technique. Like, it could be your elbows out too wide or this. Like, you could be putting on that really quickly.
Yeah.
Actually, I will say this about this, and I was really appreciative when me and Matt went, because especially like for the last while, like I hadn't worked out for a long time, just because like mental illness, and I wasn't about that lifestyle, and I just got right back into it, and then like me and Matt went, and actually, and it's true, like when Matt said technique is huge too, because yeah. Everyone goes, oh, your macronutrients and what you got to fit in your car. And I know what you mean. And it's a bunch of like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I just want to work out. I just want to try to
No,
be feeling
like,
good.
if
I
you-
don't care about every single thing I don't care about, oh, it has this percentage of fat and this percentage of protein. And with my body mass, if I don't know, that shit is too much. I get it. I'm with you.
But that's a bodybuilder. I just wanted to add that in. That's just for like specific showmanship.
Oh, no, I
bodybuilding.
get, but like,
that's
but,
the only reason people track that stuff.
true, but not even, some
You've
normal
just
people
been
do.
No,
spouting
no,
out
I
facts
mean-
at
No,
me, man.
I'm not trying to say like I weigh 26 grams of protein after my
There
my workout.
are
It's
people
just
like
I want to have some healthy protein after my meal with some
Yeah,
greens.
sure,
That's it.
there-
I-
there-
and
but
that's all
I
simplify.
find I mean especially with
I don't have time
the
to like
people
weigh all that shit.
yeah the people around are like that I see in my daily life are actually measuring how many grams of protein they're putting putting into their
Mhm.
their body every week. They're worried about their macros and stuff like that. And I get where Ray's coming from, where Ray's
Yeah.
just like, I'm just gonna eat what I think is healthy, and then
Yep.
go to the things. But I'm just saying, like, there is a larger percentage of people that are, you know, counting calories, counting their
Yep.
weighing their protein, making sure that they're getting their
And
macros
that's
in there.
like that could be just weight loss. It could be weight gain. It could be anything.
Yeah.
That's the combination.
Yeah, I'm just
Well,
saying it's
yeah.
just not a bodybuilding.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
yeah.
But I, like what I mean, like when you're like I meant like for me, like a macro, like 27 grams of protein, this carb, like at this time, like that's scientific to get all your things in for your body,
Yeah.
to fuel you up, to
Yeah.
recover and all that. Like that's the whole point. If you're like trying to get jacked or something and get stronger, your muscles are going to break down and rip, and you need a quick turnaround for them to be
Yeah.
able to repair themselves so that they're ready to go like in 3 days.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the whole point of like eating the protein.
Right.
Like I said, like I've never did it like the counting, and I got in pretty good shape. I just said I want to have some kind of healthy protein after
Yeah.
my meal. I'm going to try to eat lean, and I want to keep it around 2,000 calories a day.
yeah.
And there's certain aspects to that. Like I think if like everyone in general should be eating around 2,000 calories a day.
That's what
It-
they
that's
it-
the
it
average,
based- I
yeah.
think it's based also it's
based
all-
on height and
it's
stuff.
on
but-
height, weight, and
But
sex
like
and
it's
age.
the healthy normal person, like if you're like the average height and all that, it's around 2,000 calories. So if you want to go lose weight, you do a little less than that, like 200 calories less. And then if you want to gain weight,
You're
you
like
just
me
do
and doing 3,000.
exactly.
Yeah, well, and like just going back
Like I
quickly.
think to maintain a weight of like 185,
Yeah.
it was like 2,800 calories. Like that's just to
Yeah.
maintain. So that's like to keep your weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I will admit, there's all like, and for anyone else, actually, like once again, for the 3 people listening, for like anyone who
Including
actually,
myself.
yeah, that's what I say, including myself and every one of my family members. But for it, I
Shout
will
out to
admit, there's actual sites that do make like there's little calculators that do make it helpful. Like how much should I want, or how much calories should I eat per day roughly to lose weight? And I remember with Matthew, just like he was saying, there is true. There's the people that go really in depth and they go my macros and my protein. My whole idea, and I got around to this. I'm like, you know what? Yes, do the calculations if you really want to, and if it makes you feel good and you really feeling progress. But for anyone else like me, I just make sure that each day I have something that consists of protein. And if I don't have enough of it, I have a protein shake to make sure that I have at least, because I know, and I know just because I'll admit this one I did go into. I'm like, how much protein should I have per day ish, just to make sure I'm not going down. They're like, and they said, you know, for an average person your size, you want to go, I think it's like 0.9 grams per kilogram. Anyway, bullshit aside, I literally just did the thing online that told me try to have somewhere between like 60 and 100 grams of protein a day. I'm like, okay. And I know that it's nice because the protein thing shake or powder I have says, 30 grams per scoop. So I'm like, okay, I know 2 scoops is 60. So I know that if I eat something else with protein, I'm good. Like the 8 eggs. I'm like, oh, I'm good today. Like I ate 8 eggs. Like that's a lot. And I just think that, well, like going back to originally what I was saying with Matthew, it's interesting because like the diet obviously has a part in it, but especially with working out, technique, I didn't put a lot of like thought into it earlier until I went back and like Matt was showing me. And it's so true though, because I was doing, for example, bench. And if anyone has ever done bench press, the idea of it is that you're laying down, pressing the bar off your chest. And the thing is though, where you hold the bar makes every kind of difference, or where your arms go. So like for me, when I was lifting, my arms were essentially almost by my side going 90 degrees down, which I found was, and I've always noticed in bench too, I'm like, my shoulders hurt afterward. I'm like, why is that? I'm like, shouldn't it be my chest? Like, isn't that the idea of bench? And I always got confused. I'm like, oh, it just means maybe my shoulders need to strengthen up and then my chest will. No, I realized that like Matt came back. He's like, no, this is what you want to do. He's like, you want to try to, he's like, your elbows are going too far forward. He's like, you want to crook them out 90 degrees. He's like, and then I did it, and immediately I'm like, holy, first off, this is easier, because now it's not my shoulders doing all that, it's actually my chest. I'm like, okay, I can do this. And like, even that, and like you finish it, and it actually hurts where it's supposed to hurt, and you realize how much of a difference it makes, like for just someone like going in, and like, for example, too, like went to go do curls, and the idea of it is, right, you're just curling away, that's it. And then I remember Matt said, no, he's like, you're swinging a bit when you do it, right? Because you swing your body naturally, and you just essentially
use
cheat
momentum.
You
Yeah.
cheat
No,
yourself.
the biggest thing is like you were trying to get all the way, your hand all the way to touch your shoulder.
Yeah, that too,
And I'm
yeah.
like, that's not what you're supposed to do. The whole thing is you get in a pump, like you're actually like, when you're flexing your bicep, when
Yeah.
you get to that flex part, you're just pumping your arm.
Yeah.
That's,
Well,
that's why it's called the pump.
Yeah,
Because you're pumping
it's
your arm.
also you're getting most of the workout not on the pull up,
Yeah.
but the down.
No.
No,
'Cause
you're
that's
getting it like right on the up, and then you flex, and you're like, okay, this is where I feel the peak, and then you just go back.
I slow myself on the down.
Yeah, you're slow. You're supposed to.
Yeah, I'll put resistance.
wanna be
to
controlled.
Try, control
You-
it coming
it's
down.
Always like
because-
it's always like the resist. So anytime you're like
Yeah.
doing a pull down, the way back up is supposed to be slower. Like, and then you go hard down, like you're pushing hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's like, just to wrap it all up, my idea of it is that if you want to like for me, Matt, or anyone, like even Ray, you were saying, for the idea of it is with macros, with everything in between, it's a lot of gibberish. I know, especially for myself and any kind of layman who just wants to get in, just to kind of feel good about themselves, right? Go to the gym, feel healthy.
yeah,
That shit, it's a lot. You don't even have to worry about it. My biggest thing is I'm like, you know what? As long as you go and you're trying, eventually, and maybe if you go with someone else, like for example, and like,
It helps,
I thought
it
it's helpful,
helps.
like me going with Matt, you have someone who can show you the proper technique, and then you feel great because you're like, hey, I'm actually working the things I'm supposed to be working. I'm eating decently. I don't really know how much I'm supposed to eat, but as long as the next morning and every morning you get up, you look in the mirror and you're feeling okay about yourself, and that's everything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
whereas before, I will admit,
But
before
it
I got
doesn't even
so.
Sorry,
No,
I
it's-
just
yeah.
want to say it's not just the gym though; it's just physical activity. I
Yeah.
think like that's the biggest thing is just getting out and doing something for 30 minutes,
Yeah.
40 minutes.
Well,
Because then you'll feel way better about yourself, and you'll actually, like the endorphins or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah,
just-
it
it's
definitely is a
scientifically
mood
proven,
booster.
like, it's massive
Uh,
for mental health.
Well, I was saying, I'll cut you
Yeah,
off.
no,
I'll
no,
just
go ahead.
finish quick. I'll just say like Matt said, even if you can't go, and I admit, even yesterday I was like this, because I had my cough, and I'm like, I should go to the gym, and I know I should, but I didn't, because I'm like, well, I'm just going to start coughing, and everyone's going to look at me. And then I'm sitting there kind of moping around, right, being a bit lazy, and then it was about 7 o'clock. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go to the gym today. That's official. I'm not. It's obviously not going to happen. I'm like, let's do something. At least I feel okay about it. So I literally went outside and I walked for like 40 minutes. And I came
Damn.
back and I'm like, you know what? It wasn't a lot of work, right? Because I just walked around
easy,
listening
yeah.
to an audiobook. But at the same time, I did get back, and especially for me and like for anyone listening, like I was diagnosed a while back with depression, and for anyone with that, it is scientifically proven that anything that's cardiovascular releases endorphins, and like Matt, and it does affect your mood. And even today, like I noticed, like I went and my day was kind of going like crap, and I was feeling like crap again. I'm like, just like yesterday again. I can't really go to the gym because I'm still coughing a little bit. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, you can. And I sat around. I'll be fully admitting that's why I ate. I think a bunch too, because I'm like, food is comfort. I ate a bunch. I'm like, okay, let's just get outside and let's do something. So once again, I just went for. I didn't even go for 40 minutes. I went for 20.
It's
20-minute
too freaking
walk.
hot. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
way too
And it's
hot.
too hot. It is.
Yeah, it's
but I went out
rough.
and it's funny. But the second I got back, my mindset started shifting from you shouldn't be doing this, you should be doing this, to hey, you did something today.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
You're okay.
See,
people don't realize
you're
like
okay.
if you did nothing for 4 months
Oh.
and then you just started walking every day for 10 minutes, you're doing 10 minutes more work than you ever
Than you've
did
ever done.
in 4 months.
Yeah.
Like
So
it's
And
It's slowly just
it's an
progression, that's all it
exponential
is.
reward.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but no. Long story short, do what makes you feel good. The macros, all that bullshit. Yeah, if you really want to get into it, cool, get into it. It's fun. But if you don't worry about it. Go what make and like Matt said, do what makes you feel good.
See, I think that's become the core of what a lot of us talking about is do what makes you happy. We don't really care, because I mean,
No.
like last time it was me, Ray, and Sil talking about those what's that e-thoughts bath water or something. We're like, we don't
oh like
we
dude,
don't we
dude,
don't
like,
care.
I'll
Just
tell you right now, like I cut caffeine last week.
Damn.
I've kind of stepped back from video games and all that stuff because I was getting super anxious like every day.
Yeah.
Like, and the reason I was like, wow, like a couple weeks ago, like I was driving to a town, and like halfway through getting there, I just so anxious that I had to pull across like on the side of the road and go for a walk for 10 minutes. I was just it was the caffeine. Like the caffeine just gets you pumped up, but then it gets you too pumped and you're overslept, and then you start overthinking everything.
Yeah.
And then you're like, holy fuck, like, am I anxious? And then you just, like, you need to, like, your legs start twitching and all that. So you're like, get out of here, take a walk. And then when you, obviously, like, I think the biggest thing for me is, like, for when I get anxious or anything like that, it's like one of those, like, mind-bending realities. Like, it's like, is this reality? Like, is this real? Like, am I not, like, you know, like,
is
all
this real
stuff.
life, or is it just fantasy?
Well, you kind of feel like, because, like, when you have an anxiety attack, it feels like you're dead.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm dying. Like, if you're having an anxiety attack, it's like, I'm dying. I'm having a heart attack or something. You just start freaking out. So, like, when that happened, I was like, holy fuck, like, why at work? But then I went and walked around. And I kept on doing my day. I'm like, holy fuck, I actually kept doing it, like, after I had my anxiety attack. So it was shit. But I'm like, oh, okay, what's, like, some triggers? Like, there's got to be something. I was like, it's got to be the caffeine, because my sister gets anxious when she drinks caffeine. I'm like, I've been drinking not a lot, like just a large cup every day, and that's it. Like I know my limits, but it was like that with a combination of sleep and all that shit. I'm like, I gotta stop drinking coffee.
Yeah.
So I just stopped. Like, and I have no withdrawals or anything like that. But holy shit, like you just got to know your body and what
Yeah.
you got to do, man.
Well, actually, when you said about that, you know what? It is
Sucks
important.
balls, man.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had an anxiety attack?
I'll admit, just
It
because
is
like
fucking
I,
shitty, man. It is the worst feeling in my life. Like,
I've had, yeah, because I've never, I'll admit, I've never actually had I've never had an anxiety attack. I've had general anxiety,
Yeah.
but especially for me, I've only ever been to the sadder side. I've never been
Yeah.
to the anxiety, like,
oh, like fuck my life, man. Jesus,
Yeah.
it sucks, man.
I was saying, cause like I know, and I know for like my example, I know a few members, like not in my immediate family, but I know a few members of my extended family who suffer from anxiety. And the thing is, and it's interesting, and the way it works, and like and I'm saying from them, but they'll go, you know, hey, we're gonna go out, or so for example, we'll go out and we'll have supper, it'll be great, and all of a sudden it'll be about 2:00, and they'll call a few times, like 3 or 4 times in a row, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Why are they calling so many times? And they call and say, hey, you know, and you can tell in their voice too, because they're so they're too anxious, and it's almost like, hey, so I just wanted to talk to you quick, and it's like,
Yeah.
and there's something
It's-
off, and you can kind of pick it. And I
It's
remember
because they're trying to make sure that it's real.
they're trying to, and
Yeah.
well, and then I remember for my one, like for my family, you know, and saying, hey, you know, I know we were gonna have a day here, but I think I'm gonna kind of call it early. I think I'm gonna go home, you know, and I think, and it's funny too because they instinctively, and I understand it, instinctively you try to give. Especially with other people, you try to give an excuse and go, hey, you know, I think you guys, you know what, like for, it was my immediate family and it essentially said, I think you guys would enjoy your time, you know, maybe by yourself, because it's your family, it's your time, and then, but you have to sit there and go, that's not true. And not to say you don't want that, but you want to go because you're anxious. I'm like, that's okay, but tell us. Because like my family is now very understanding, like with my illness and with, I think other members of my family do suffer from similar. And it's if you're open with each other, especially like with you an anxiety attack, right? If you tell someone, all of a sudden, I found that for me at least, makes it a lot easier, right? Like if you're having problems, like even this morning, I remember like, and I love her to death. My nanny's a fantastic woman. Like she called me this morning and I picked up the phone and she knew immediately. Like she can tell because she also has a bit of, and she literally and because I woke up, I'm like, hey, what's up? And I was curt. I was very curt. And like, yeah, I was woken up and I wasn't happy about that, but it was a combination of things. She's like, okay, I'll talk to you later. And she and I'm like, what? And she just hung up. I'm like, okay. And I remember she called later. She's like, are you doing better now? And like that was essentially it. And she even said, she's like, I don't want to bug you, but she's like, I know when you're going down. And instinctively I thought, I'm like, you know what? That's what it is though. And even though I didn't want to talk about it, she kept prodding. And I'm like, she's like, I'm going to keep calling you today until you pick. And then, until I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is what happened. Right. And then you get into it. And immediately after you're done, you spread it out there. No judgment. They go, okay, what are you going to do about it? Right? Like, what are you going to do about it today kind of thing? And that's why especially with anyone with anxiety or anything like that, it's super important for someone to get in there and go, hey, what's going on? Even if you don't want it, even if you don't, like you said, and then you find the triggers though. Like, you looked at your sister and went, you know what? She gets like this when she has caffeine. Yeah. And then you were able from there, right? When you talk to people, you get out of your own head. You get out of that space. I'm not saying necessarily in your case because obviously you just remembered a conversation. But for anyone else, like when you get out of your own head and other people go, hey, maybe this is happening because of this. You go, oh shit, that makes sense. Well, right? Like, because you're a bit clouded when you think.
I think when you get an anxiety attack, it's just a buildup of you being anxious about so many fucking
and
things.
And the straw that broke the camel's
and then
back.
you just try to avoid it, and you avoid it, and eventually it's like, okay, time for you to just go.
Yeah, rears its ugly head because one thing will happen.
And you're like, fuck, I should have just dealt with my issues at that point in time, but I just decided to avoid it all, right?
That's also human
this
nature.
Or that, and that, exactly. And you're like, fuck, I'm just going to hide behind something else, right? Like, but then it eventually just catches up to you, so it's just...
Woo! Well, that's the thing. Deal with
shit.
it, and then at the same time, tell people about it, right?
Yeah.
Because like, as much as I remember growing up, and I think like anyone with, I'm not just saying the generation, but my dad grew up, and I grew up with the understanding of be a man. And I'm not saying my parents ever, like, if they ever saw me cry, would go, oh, suck it up. No, they never said that. But the idea was be a man, right? Mm-hmm. And then instinctively you go, okay, if I have a problem, I deal with it. No one else needs to hear about it. I deal with it. But then you realize, though, unfortunately, like you had, and when everything builds up to the point where something snaps and you go, and you have to deal with it, instead of letting it get to that point, right? Like you said, you notice something and maybe it sucks, and someone asks you, hey, how's your day going? Don't bullshit them and say, hey, it's going great. Yeah. Say, it kind of sucked. Yeah. This happened today. And all of a sudden, now you have an audience, and now the person go from the outside looking in, because you are your own worst enemy in your own head, right? Because like if you think, oh, I went to a party and I talked to a girl and I embarrassed myself, she'll never talk to me again. Oh, when in reality you went up to her, you stuttered a bit and you walked away, and she said, well, he's a bit weird, but that's it, right? Like, but in your mind, it's Armageddon. Everything is worse has happened.
Oh yeah.
So I just think whenever it comes to that, just tell people.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Boom.
I want to move on to something.
Yeah, we can move on, 'cause I
to
know
something
that's-
else. No, that's fine. It's a little more still in line with what we've been talking about. Positive body image and that kind of sort of stuff here. I just want to ask. I know what you guys. I just want to ask. Like, is there like a very big difference to what you thought maybe like 10 years ago? What your ideal, physique looked like to compared to now? Because like for me personally, 10 years ago, like back in high school, I guess that would like the end of high school there. Like I did a bit of wrestling and stuff like that, but like I wasn't super into, exercising a whole lot and whatnot. And I was on a bit of the lighter side, but like I honestly didn't care what I really, really looked like. But now, 10 years later, it's like, well, I weigh 135. That's a bit lighter on the scale of things. Ideally, I'd want to be around 155, 160.
Yeah.
Right. So now I'm putting the effort into trying to bulk up and gain weight and making sure that's muscle mass as opposed to just fat. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I just want to. I'm just curious with Ray especially. Like we'll say like 10 years ago, did you have anything? You thought that was sort of your ideal physique compared to now?
Nope. Never
Have
even
you ever
thought
seen Jabba the Hutt?
It would take him. You realize how long it would take
That
Ray?
I don't even know how I would
you
achieve
could-
it.
I
I
don't
just
thi-
have to
physically-
non-stop
literally
be eating.
just sitting on the couch watching Dota streams, eating pizza 24/7.
That'd be the only way.
No,
Yeah.
he'd still weigh the
it-
same. His foot would just grow to a massive
Oh,
size
yeah,
because of the
that would
gout.
be the first sign. No, especially with the eating thing, I found I just kind of get bored when I eat. So it's like if I eat like 2 slices of pizza, and it's like I'm not super hungry after that point. I'm like, oh, I've eaten a lot of pizza. I don't want pizza anymore. So it's like, but no, never once even thought about the whole body image thing. It's just body.
That's
is,
awesome, man.
That's good. That's good. That's
the worst thing is when I tell people, I'm like, I feel like I kind of have a bit of a gut, and people just look at me.
Oh, and they look at
And they're like,
contempt.
you fucking
Contempt.
piece of
Yeah.
shit. And I was like, well, no.
Ray's
look at it.
the kind of guy that I did so bad on the test and then walks back with like an 80, 85.
Yeah, but this is personal, not
No, but I get that.
fact based.
But you know what? It's funny though because like for them, right, and for me and Matt, and I understand where they're coming from because majority.
Oh, I get it. When you
especially
talk
the-
to someone
yeah.
who's like 180 and they're like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Oh yeah, and well, and the idea is right, and like with the upright, like the epidemic in Canada isn't. Oh, we're dangerously underweight. That's not the. We all know that's not the epidemic. We are obesity rate, especially I'm seeing in the hospitals. We're having to get more and more bariatric equipment because these people are that large.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and like that's why I understand why your coworkers, like with me and Matt too, we'd look at you and go, "What the hell is wrong with
Yeah,
you?"
are
Like
you fucking serious?
You literally have the best gift from heaven, but we don't realize that that's our perspective. And our perspective has always been, "Fuck, I gotta lose weight. I gotta lose weight. I gotta lose weight." Whereas, and with anyone else, right? Anyway, especially when, like, I know my brother. I always use an example. Like, he's never had to worry about that, but he's also been the one to be like, I know I'm trying to gain weight, and he can't. And we can't comprehend it because our bodies are so opposite, but it's the same problem, just in a different avenue.
Yeah.
So, like, I understand, like, I can understand the, like, and you know what? I can say this much: good for you for the fact that, like, what, like, is ultimately you want to be comfortable with yourself and just be like, I don't care, I'm good, I'm living, I'm being,
Crushing it.
I'm living, I'm being healthy enough, good enough for me.
I think that to answer your question, Jason, I think it's definitely changed for me. Like if you go 10 years ago, I would have been like 275 or something like that, or 260. So it's obviously changed. I'm still a lot healthier than I was now compared to then even. So,
Lost over 100 pounds.
yeah. So I mean,
that is
100. He lost a whole person.
fantastic.
so yeah.
He
So
lost
like,
me.
yeah, you feel like like definitely
incredible.
it's changed and all that, but like it's never like the one thing I've noticed like when I hit my peak and I don't think I'll ever get like I can get back to that. I don't know how much better I can get past that. Like it'd be really hard. Like that's where I'd actually have to like do the food counting shit. Like all
Yeah,
that.
you'd have to get
I don't really know
intense.
if I want to do that, but I can get back to where I was at my best, and I was really happy with that. But it's the feeling like it's not even that the way you look. It's the feeling and the aura you get around yourself. Like you
Yeah.
feel super confident. You're very
That's-
happy and comfortable with who you are, and you don't overthink anything. Like you don't actually like get anxious about anything. You don't get nervous about anything
Because you're comfortable in your own
you're
skin.
so happy and
Yeah,
comfortable
that's
with who you
that's
are.
what I think is
And
very
that's like
important.
the biggest thing, right? And I think that's what I'm trying to get back to now, because I'm like, man, I felt way better. Like I remember I was like where I am now, like with anxiousness and all that. That was like when I was 17, and like when I started losing weight, all that went away.
Yeah.
Like, all of it went away for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, I just got to get back to that. So
Yeah, and
that's why I've just been trying to eat really healthy. You know, like I know that it's impossible not to have like a shitty snack here or there. So it's just like, okay, I'll have one shitty snack, and you have like a chocolate bar, but you just have the chocolate bar. You don't have chocolate bar plus ice cream plus chips because you feel like a piece of shit that day. Like it's hard not to do that, but that's what you got to do, right? So it's kind of like that. So it's gonna take time, but I want that feeling again, because is that feeling the best? Like you feel so happy with yourself. It's the best.
Yeah.
And like,
Like-
you-
No. All I was gonna say is that I've spoken about it before in this podcast. Like I don't care what other people think about me. I'm just like if I'm gonna shower, I'm gonna shower like the way I shower. I'm gonna work out the way I work out. I'm gonna walk around the way I want to walk around. But like me hitting 155, 160, like my goal
weight,
there.
your goal
Yeah,
weight.
my ideal goal weight there. I think it's just gonna improve like mentally, just how I feel about
Oh,
myself.
100%.
Oh, your quality of life gets way better.
And
I
the
can say
best
that
part
much.
is when it even shows even more when you're more comfortable in your
Yeah,
own skin,
and-
that you don't give a fuck about what anyone
and
thinks
it's
about you.
yeah, and it's
You don't care.
exactly like what we talked about in our last podcast down here. What you touched on, like I don't want to be in a relationship unless I'm 100%
Oh, yeah,
on myself,
100%.
right? And I think your self-image plays a whole hell of a lot into that.
Oh yeah, like I can say easily. Actually, it got to the point, and I recognized this afterwards. Like me and my ex, I realized we got to a point where, and it's so stupid to think this way, but just instinctively coming up, and not to say I had a traumatic childhood. I didn't. My family's fantastic. Everyone gets bullied in elementary school. It happens. Kids are monsters. We all get that. But I just remember I got this attitude in me that I always needed to be better, or I always needed to so if one of my friends is good at something, and it was a terrible attitude to have, I go, okay, they have that, but I have this. And I always compare and contrast, and it's not healthy. I remember I got to the point where I looked at my ex's competition, and anything that she did, I had to do better. And that's an incredibly unhealthy way to think, because all of a sudden...
That's the basis of a horrible relationship.
Oh, it is. And, like, we go out, and, for example, if we went out and say, like, one guy would give her the eye, right? Like, ooh, like, of course, men check women out. I would instinctively go, okay, I'll do everything in my power to get more attention than you. So I would go for example, to the dance floor, and I would just lose it, or I'd find, you know what I mean? Like, and I'd do anything I could to one up them. And it got to the point where I'm like, you know what? Like, holy shit, that's unhealthy, because you're not happy with yourself, because you're constantly competing. Why? So it got to the point where I had to take a step back. And like Matt said, like when I was younger, like coming back into Jason's question, like my whole idea was, I'm like, I just don't want to be fat. I just don't want to be fat. It sucks being fat, because everyone goes, you're the fat kid. And every time like you go to the pool, you're like, well, maybe I should bring a shirt, right? Mm-hmm. And I just think to myself, I'm like, that shit sucked. And I'm like, I just don't want to be fat. I just want to be skinny. My whole idea was I want to be lean. I want to be like the guy like that's, sitting there like leaning back with a six pack. That's what I always wanted to be. And like that was my whole idea. Whereas now I do understand. I'm like, you know what? That's not my body type. I know it. That's not my body type. I can lose weight, but I'll never be that guy that like has like the tapered V and all. No, that's not me. If I really wanted to get into it, like Matt said, like you can get to the point where you get crazy, like, oh, I want my macros, and you want to give above your peak. But my peak was never that. My peak was actually, I'll admit, probably when I was about 180. And then I went a bit too crazy, and I went past that. Whereas, like, I think now I look at it, and I'm like, my ideal body now is that I want to be, like Jason said, I have a goal weight that I want to get to. That would be nice. And if I get there, awesome. But other than that, I just want to feel good. I just want to wake up, look at myself, and say, you know what? That's someone who's given it effort. That's it.
Yeah. And I mean, like those guys that are like V shaped and like super cut and stuff
Yeah,
like
like the
that.
swimmers
Like
and all that.
you got to realize they're also like before they take those pictures, they're very dehydrated too.
Oh, yeah.
Like
And depending on their body type, like there are guys like genetically, and I think anyone's known this, there are people genetically who don't even have to work out and are just jacked. Or they're just very, very muscular just because they're athletic. And that's the nature of the beast.
I mean, their body is just 0% body fat. Like
Also to gain
That's what
weight
it
too,
is.
they might have really crazy genetics that help them gain muscle
yeah.
mass really fast.
yeah, I think it's because the three body types. I think it's ecto, endo, and mesomorph. I
Yeah,
believe
something like that.
mesomorph is the type. No, mesomorph is the type that literally everyone wants to be mesomorph because they're just the type.
My
that
body
are more-
type Snorlax.
my body type is lard. No, but like that, I don't know. Do what makes you feel good. I guess we're getting back to the original point, but
No,
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's just the commonality. I find that anytime I ask you guys any sort of questions, just do whatever the hell that makes you happy, as long as it doesn't infringe on, laws.
Don't go burn your cats,
and,
you psychos.
Morality
Burning
and whatnot. I mean,
That's how psychopaths
do
usually start.
do whatever the hell you want. And then I think that's very important that people are forgetting nowadays. They're doing things that other people, like, they're trying to gain other people's approval, when in reality you only really need your approval.
Well, one actually question I have though for everyone, with the idea of approval, your own acceptance. What point have you ever had a moment where you went, I don't care what anyone thinks, but in reality, you've gone a bit too far off the deep end? Whereas you should have cared a little bit of what people thought.
I will tell you.
I'm gonna say it
I will
out for
tell
my
you a fantastic story.
because I'm gonna tell you my own experience. Like my
your own story though.
like my own experience was like one time like especially when I was in like the worser part of mental. I thought, I'm like, I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm gonna dress the way I want. I'm gonna grow my hair out. I don't give a shit. Do what I want. Which is okay, but there's a point where, unfortunately, people do judge you.
You look so funny with long hair.
Oh, yeah, hey, you know what, though? I got people coming out of the woodwork. I have 4 people at work and about 75 on the other end of it that hated it, 4 people that said they liked it. There we go. Growing it back. No, but the idea of it is, like, you can be comfortable, and that's awesome. And you can go out, but you have to also understand that people will treat you differently depending on how you looked. When I had long hair, I remember the guy say, I know the secret shopper at Safeway. I know the guy because he follows me, and he followed me all the time. And I come in there with my long hair, and I get it. I'm wearing long hair with like a plaid jacket. Okay, maybe he's not really trustworthy. Or I'd even come in with like a tie dye, and I get it, not the most trustworthy. He followed me around every single time, and always with the same thing, orange juice. I don't know why he's always picked out orange juice, because that would go bad if you kept it, longer than an hour. But he'd always follow me around with just orange juice. I'm like, okay, clearly you're following me around. And like people, especially at work, the elderly, unfortunately, would immediately distrust me. They'd go, oh shit, is there another nurse I could talk to? And I'm like, I get it, but shit. Yeah. And I realized that, don't get me wrong, it is okay to be comfortable, but it's also okay. It's also important to put your best foot forward. And like, I know for me, the second I cut my hair, Secret Chopper didn't even look at me twice. Went, oh, he's fine. Right? And then immediately my perception of, oh, everyone's out to get me, as opposed to... Oh my God. Is that Stefan? No, it's me. It's me. I make funny faces. Nice. But so in essence, it's like, don't be wrong, be comfortable with who you are, but also understand that people will judge you and will treat you differently depending on how you look, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. My story, well, I was in the 6th grade. No, I was younger than that. I was in the...
No, I was a young boy.
I was in the second... No, it was the second grade. It was pajama day at school. Everyone was supposed to show up in their PJs. You know what? You know what I slept in? I just slept in my tidy whities. That's it. Oh, so my mom for the life of me was trying to get me to. It's pajama day. We're supposed to show up. We're supposed to show up in our PJs. Well, fine. Mom won. Got me out the door and clothes. Right. But I show up at school. I'm like, no. This is pajama day. We're gonna do that. So I walk into. I remember mom dropped me off. She goes off to work. I walk into the doors. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna switch into my PJs. Everybody else is in their PJs. I'm gonna get in my PJs too. So I walk into the washroom, undress into everything but my everything but my tidy whities, and I start walking to class. And I remember the principal caught. No, it wasn't the principal. It was the janitor. The janitor caught me, and he was like,
to a closet.
"What are you doing there, son?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to class." He's like, "Where's all your clothes?" And I'm like, "It's pajama day. It's a PJ day. I sleep like this at home." And he's going, "Well, we're gonna go to the principal's office here, and we're just gonna chat a little bit about that." And I remember, like, oh, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, I just want to go to class. I want to see my friends, and I'll show them off my cool PJs, which is really just my underwear.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember my mom got called back to school. And stuff like that. My mom's like, yeah, no, he sleeps in his underwear. It's just, I thought, we dressed him today, and we made it very clear that he can't, be like this at school. And I'm like, but mom, it's PJ day.
Can't get it through his head.
Yeah, I just could not get it through my head. And then they're like, yeah, you just gotta put on clothes, Jason. I'm like, fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And that awoke a fetish in Jason.
I have something similar to that, but not PJ day at school. But it's more or less like you feel very comfortable in the moment kind of story. So back in the day, me and Dan hung out with a bunch of nurses, and one of the nurses had a pool. So none of us brought swimming trunks, but don't worry, just go in your boxers, no problem. We're all hammered, right? So let's go in the pool, and we go sliding. Me and Dad, we're like doing the bobsled team in just our boxers, and all the girls are just loving it because it's probably the gayest thing they've ever seen for two straight men doing.
Bobsled?
But like one person's right behind the other person.
like
holding
holding on to each other while
like
we
that
go
shit.
Like it was decently homoerotic.
So yeah,
Wow.
so we're like schmammered, right? And then it's really cold, but then like inside's super warm because it's super hot out, right? So then we go inside, and there's this giant pool because one of the girls, actually most of those girls took pole dancing classes because it's supposed to be really
for fitness
healthy.
and for fun.
For fitness and for fun.
Also for sexy times.
But there was also a giant pole for pole dancing, to which me and Dan then proceeded to swing around the pole for about an hour and a half in just our boxers.
Yeah. Real sexual.
And
Like,
then
we
you're
were making people
and then
very
you're
moist.
so hammered, you're like, wee! And then there's all these guys there too, and they're like looking at us, they're like, these guys are idiots. And then like then the next day you're like, yeah, probably shouldn't have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was in the moment I felt really comfortable, but then you're like, that was a bad decision, but a fun one.
It was a fun one. See, you know what the thing though about that, I will admit, obviously I like that one. I'm okay with it because you know what it is, and I remember it. And I remember even the people going like, "The fuck is wrong with those guys?" But you know what? We had fun.
Oh.
And you know what?
Yeah,
they
we
would have
did.
sat there the whole night going, they would have had no chance they had as much fun as us.
Yeah.
I guarantee
it
you
was
that.
one of those things where like if you didn't know the people, you would hate them. You're like, you're such
Yeah,
idiots.
because you'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with
Yeah.
you guys? Why are you just sitting here like a bunch of dorks on
Or all the
poles?"
girls just loved it.
Oh yeah, no, and of course they were like we were getting cheers and cat calls and all that.
Oh yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was fun. I enjoyed that. Even the bobsled, I remember that. Yeah,
Oh God.
yeah.
I don't know. I'd say though, for Jason's question, I think I might call out no drinking stories because that becomes I'm
Yeah, you get a
comfortable with
point.
the
That
situation
is
versus
more a
I'm
bit of
just
a.
hammered and my inhibition is
Yeah,
shot.
no,
Like
but it's still one of those
yeah,
things.
it
You're
still
like, I
fits.
shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was
still fits the story.
It fit. I mean, it was Dan's question, but yeah, like
Oh.
me, I that was like second.
It's
I mean, like even in
fucked up.
even like when Matthew, Ray, and I went down to Edmonton for Labor Day weekend.
yes.
We went down there. We went down there just for fun and stuff like that. And we went to the water park at the West End Mall.
Yep.
You guys brought your swimmies, but I didn't because I didn't
right.
I kind of forgot that
He wears
I didn't
boxers.
I didn't I didn't have any swimmies with me.
Well, you're at a mall.
So I went and bought some. But you know what? I show up and like they didn't see me go buy my swimmies. I went and bought them myself, and then I met them at the place later on, right? So they're changing into boxers, right? They're swimming trunks, right? You know what regular swimming trunks are? Like
Yeah.
they're just above the knee and stuff like that.
Like board shorts. Kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah. I come out in this like booty short kind of style, like
It was pretty
like a
big,
Speedo
wasn't
or
it?
what?
Like, it was super big, wasn't it?
it wasn't big. It wasn't a Speedo. It was a little bit bigger than a Speedo. Like the drawers.
Oh, like the
that.
gym
I don't
short.
remember.
Like
No,
drawers
like-
came up to there, and the guys were just staring at me, going like, "Is that what you're wearing?" I'm like, yes, that is what I'm wearing. And I just remember these guys, going around in their board shorts and stuff like that, and I'm just strutting my stuff out, feeling super cool about it. And I was like, I don't care what anyone thinks. I mean, I wasn't wearing a banana hammock, but
Yeah.
I still thought I still enjoyed it.
Well, that's it though, right? It's being confident.
Yeah.
You know what? And I'll admit that's also another thing. Confidence sells it, right? Like if you're ever in anything, and like everyone says this, right? Oh, I'm attracted to that person. Why? Well, they just seem sure of themselves, and it's true though, because you go, shit, they're so confident. I want to be around. I want to be confident like that. And like I was gonna say just about like the water park. I remember distinctly one time, like I went out, and I don't even think Matt was here this time. I think this was before we like really were hanging out with him. But me and a group of nurses went out, and I just remember essentially us going bowling. And at one point during the time going bowling, like I realized I am not a good bowler. I 100% understand that, but I'm also competitive, which doesn't bode well. So instinctively, I want to go better. I want to do better. And I realized that at one point, I literally started going granny tossing. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Granny tossing. Because I'm like, you know what? The whole time I was enjoying myself so much that like I will be 100% honest with you. The group next to us with a bunch of guys, like maybe like 2 or 3 girls, but mainly men, they were looking at me. Every single one of them looked at me like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Because like I was going up and granny bowling it every single time, but I'm like, you know what? I actually did pretty good granny bowling. And I came back and I'm like, hey, yeah. And like I'm a bit in my cup, so I'm a bit doing better. But not even because of that. Like genuinely, I had about 2 beer. I'm feeling great because I'm like, I don't care. Like I'm having fun with my friends. And it's funny because I noticed, and it didn't even happen until after we left, but the group next to us, right after I left, it would have been maybe 20 minutes after, I saw the 2 guys start granny bowling. And I'm like, there we go. I'm infectious. I've gotten them, right? Because like they were making fun of me, and I get it. It's granny bowling. But at the end of the day, they saw the points I was putting, and they, I don't know, maybe not necessarily saw the confidence, but I was coming out of there dancing and snapping, and I think they went, well, shit, maybe I'd give it a go. So like it really is true about like confidence. You can sell that kind of stuff. Like those shorts with yours, right? When you're like you're strutting it. Like,
Yep,
oh, who
yeah,
cares if
just
anyone doesn't like it? They'll come up and talk to you, and they just say, "Oh shit, well he's confident."
As
about
long
it."
as I'm not showing any of my balls or my penis, I
That's
think
a bit
I'm
too
good.
My penis.
That's a bit too much.
Any of the 3 of them.
I mean, men's
But
nipples
you
are
should
okay,
be able to
women's
spot it
nipples
out of
are not.
100 dicks, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I could totally do that. I
Yeah.
could totally do that. There's
Yeah,
there's some identifying marks on my penis that have been like,
oh my god.
huh?
No, but
Heard
with,
enough.
but I will say this much, and with anyone working in anything healthcare related, my goodness, there's a point where you do think to yourself and you start looking and like never in a sense of disrespectful, right? But you're bathing people, you are caring for people, you are doing all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You see more genitalia than you ever thought you would in your entire life, and you do get to the point where you go like. You start seeing it more and more and more, and you're like, God, I hate seeing these things. You're like, well, shit, maybe I'm not going to get to the point where I don't like it. No. You can always see past that.
yeah.
But I just think that about like when you said earlier about
What?
like no,
Yeah, I didn't follow that.
Oh, you
at
see
all.
past the dicks?
no, I'm saying like if you ever go like to a point, not the
I was
I'm saying
confused.
if you're in the hospital working, right?
Yeah.
You're constantly in contact and not like and bathing and otherwise with people.
Yeah.
And
So
let's
male
just-
and female.
Yeah, but let's just go. Long story short, a lot of them are not picturesque pictures, right? It's
Yeah.
not the funnest time down at the you know.
It's
the old
not a
corral.
porno store.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good. But I remember even times where I would leave there and just go to myself, I'm like, you know what? Like, no, I'm not. No, I don't like anything about those things. Oh, they're all gross. They're all fucking gross. And then
Are
immediately
you
go
talking
home.
about a female body part in particular at
Oh,
this
both.
moment? Oh, okay.
And like
I was
even
kind of confused because you kept on like going.
Oh, yeah,
I
sorry,
thought
no,
you
no.
were like just talking dicks. Sorry.
no, but you do go around and you think you're like, well, could I ever actually like shit? I'm not sure if I can get in the mood again. Yeah, no, you do. But like at the same,
Oh,
like,
okay,
like,
like you're
with
just-
your
yeah,
significant
you're
other
scared.
afterwards, because
Oh,
you're like, well,
okay,
shit,
yeah.
I've seen so many of those today. I don't know if I want to see any more of them. I don't know where we're going with this, but that was my story for it. There's a point in everyone who works in healthcare, and I will bet my life on it, has gone to a point where man, I've seen too much junk. I'm done with it. I've seen too many dicks. I've seen too many meat curtains. I'm done with it. That's the end of it. And then you realize as soon
Then he
as you,
goes home and just watches Pornhub for 4 hours.
no, never. Oh no, that would be like
It's
actually.
like 20 minutes tops. Yeah, what am I talking
I was
about?
gonna say, what the hell? You talk 20. You're giving me way too much credit. That is 15 seconds, 10 seconds crying, and then
Also, I
afterwards
just want to
shame.
plug something. Gianna Michaels, Mia Makova, my boy Danny Single.
I could not. See the thing of that though. That's a
Yeah,
double-edged sword.
that's-
Because if you're dating anyone like that, then they have a serious expectation of what is good.
That's
right? And then like I'm coming in,
They
they're
might
going,
not even care. They
Yeah.
might probably just all
I'm
the time.
pretty sure that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they
Yes,
probably.
they might not. They might
Probably
not.
like a hairdresser, right?
They probably just enjoy having sex no matter what.
Cut too much hair, you go home. You're like, I don't care about my own hair. Give them, don't give a shit.
yeah.
They just,
All right. We're gonna end it on
Yeah,
that
we're a
note.
bit
Okay.
tangent.
Okay. No, this is fine. We talked about what body image.
I've
and
seen too much junk.
penis is a whole hell of a lot. So I
Penis's
just
body image,
yeah.
Pina
Confidence.
confidence.
Yeah. That's
Com-
that's our
confident
whole
penis
podcast
body.
there.
Yeah.
Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen.
comforting penis body.
I want to thank you boys for joining me on another interesting podcast here. And all I want to say is thank you, and we hope you join us next time. Have a good night.
Night.
Yeah. It's a lot of penis talk.